Greetings and salutations, Dota fans. I'm Ayesee, back with another RepCast, and don't worry, I'm not jipping you out of the pick ban phase, or at least not intentionally. I really wanted to cast this game, had the replay all loaded up, and lo and behold, as soon as I got it going, turns out this was a remake. So it started with all picks, so no drafting phase for me to talk over top of. This time around, instead, we're just going to be right into the action, and it is going to be Na'Vi taking on VP. Once again, want to thank everyone for joining me here on my YouTube channel. Hope you guys enjoy the content I produce. Speaking of that, I have taken a little bit of time off lately. Very much my apologies for that. Just had Thanksgiving come up and had to do the family thing, and this pause is convenient because now I can cover all my apologies before fast-forwarding. But anyway, had, the family thing come up, then my birthday was right after that. And yeah, so I've been out of commission so far as YouTube content production has been for the last 2 or 3 weeks, but we're going to be turning that around right here and right now. Now, this is one of the most highly upvoted games I've seen in a long, long time on Dota TV. Hundreds of upvotes for this. And this is from Starladder, by the way, so if you're interested in checking this replay out yourself, you can buy the ticket to Starladder Season 4. And that's run by and casted by Vlad, at least in Russian. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Sheever was actually the person who casted this in English live, and I encourage you to check her out and check out her broadcast. If you don't like what I do, go check her out. One of the hardest working ladies in esports. And just a fantastic personality to have in the scene, and someone I count among my friends and colleagues, having met her in Seattle at the International too. But anyway, how about we talk about the Dota that's right in front of us right now. So once again, no pick ban phase. Much apologies for that, but we've got some interesting lineups on the way. On VP, we'll run through them as quickly as we can. We're going to have NS playing on our Shadow Demon. We're going to have Airman playing on our Nakes, our Life Stealer. Going to be KS playing on our Undying. Bad Rider going to be handled by Santa, and CRZ. I'm not gonna say all those R's, but we're just gonna call our Queen of Pain players CRZ this time around. On the other side of the river, we're gonna have Hovost handling a Luna this time around. Enigma's gonna be played by Puppy. No surprise there to see Puppy hanging out in the jungle. He is making his way there now. Dindy, now this is exciting if you're a Dindy fan, and who isn't really? Getting to see him on such a high skill ceiling hero as a Puck, and right there we just see that beautiful, beautiful quick reaction time dodging out of that auto attack damage coming out from the Queen of Pain. Broodmother going to be Light of Heaven. He's setting up shop by himself down in the long lane, no surprise. And Cloudy playing on our Jakiro. Going to guess that's a stand-in, something along those lines, since Arzart obviously not a part of the lineup today. But granted, I did not get to see this match casted live. I don't know if there's any storyline behind the Cloudy name. Maybe that is Arzart. Hang on, we've got action already. Ice Path going to catch 2. Hovost falling back. And haven't had a whole lot of time to analyze the lanes. Usually that's something we talk about a little bit during the pick and ban, how the lanes might form out, and then we take a look at how they actually form out after we get started. But since I had all that other stuff to cover, a little bit behind, so we're going to try and play a little bit of catch-up. We can see the tri-lane up at top already of Enigma, Jakiro, and Hovost. And, Puppy just staying very safe with this Enigma, staying very close to mid lane, making sure that there's not going to be any movement out, because this is a dangerous duo here, the Undying and the Bad Rider. Not to say that they're the biggest in burst at early levels, but Puppy cannot really afford to be caught out in the jungle. And he knows that. Getting some early levels, making his way over here only after he has a full stack of Eidolons to move with, and just being an all-around solid, safe player trying to get Enigma and make the use of Enigma's strengths. He is the fastest jungler, arguably. I haven't seen the exact math done on all heroes. Pretty sure Enigma is the fastest, though, if not the fastest, definitely one of the top. In terms of just being able to get his levels up, being able to generate a lot of gold, a lot of GPM coming out at those early levels, levels 1 through 5, and just rushing him up to 6, getting the core items he's going to want and need the most. So very important, especially when you're up against 2 heroes like this. Bad Rider and Undying have just become 2 absolute terrors to deal with. Very often picked, and Santa's going to be caught with an Ice Path. They're going to go ahead and pursue this. Don't think they're going to be able to get him. Yeah, he's going to be able to fly right over to the edge and drop on down. Gets a little extra gold from burning the creeps away in the meantime. But these 2 heroes are going to become big. Oh, very nice try from the high ground. Our Jakiro laying down the Ice Path, but Santa dodging it very adeptly. But anyway, just between those two heroes alone, you're talking about a lot you're going to have to deal with in terms of initiation and how you fight. That's really the big thing about Undying in particular. He changes the way you have to approach fights in any number, be it 1-on-1 all the way up to 5-on-5. You can't fight around his tombstone, or if you do, all of a sudden his tombstone has to take target priority, and if you make the mistake of not doing that, you're going to find yourself hurting quite a bit. Speaking of hurting, 2 rings of protection here on Luna for Hervos. A little bit weird. Don't usually see that. Normally we're going to see him go up the Tranquil Boots, which you can expect. I guess, I mean, I can understand that if you're worried about taking damage while you're farming up in this lane, given it is a tri-lane with an Enigma in the jungle, so it is essentially a 2-on-2 against 2 very hard-to-deal-with heroes in Bad Rider and Undying. You get the 2 rings of protection, gives you that extra armor to begin with, and you're going to make use of that. You're going to go ahead and build those into Tranquil Boots, and eventually probably into a Ring of Aquila. We'll see if that's what he decides to do. Dindy just absolutely giving Queen of Pain all she can handle here in mid. Good bottling between the auto attacks, though, and Dindy. Pretty rare misstep there, taking a bit of tower damage he shouldn't have. Off goes the orb. He is going to go for it, and is he going to be able to get it? He will. Give him the first blood. Dindy ends up paying the price for it, but of course, if you can go 1 for 1 and get the first blood in the process, it's a marginal victory, but a victory nonetheless. Make it 1-1. And yeah, that's another reason it's going to be fun. I mean, anytime you see Dindy on a hero that has such a high skill cap as a puck, we're going to be looking for some big plays and a lot of creative stuff. Just, you know, the hallmarks of what make Dindy so popular throughout the entire scene. It's such a highly regarded player in terms of pure individual skill. Pretty active all over the map so far. I mean, we've got a lot of movement going on. Got to admit, I still feel a little bit... Oh, hang on. We're going to have the Tombstone go down. And Ice Path going to catch a couple. There's going to be another death. Dindy's up there as well. He's got the Dream Coil down. Silence going to keep Bad on the ground. In fact, puts him on the ground for good. Make it 3-1. Very good movement out of Na'Vi. Capitalizing on their skill set. Dindy in the right place at the right time. And making it 3-1 in favor of his team. Now let's take a look at Light of Heaven and how he's doing. Haven't talked a whole lot about the last hit yet. Light of Heaven sitting way low, and that's probably to be expected. I mean, you can't really expect a Broodmother against a professional team to be able to do anything in a 2-on-1 situation, especially when you're talking about a Lifestealer who's just going to have pretty good damage output. He's going to be able to hang and bang and swing with you if you decide to try and fight it out. Not to mention how cautiously you have to play with the Shadow Demon around. Now they're going to drop the Sentry. And yeah, they don't want Light of Heaven getting anything here, not even experience. Going to try to deny him experience as well as gold. But when you're talking about the Disruption, Soul Catcher combination that's going to come out of this Shadow Demon. And as we can see, yeah, he's got 2 in that, 2 in Soul Catcher. Pretty standard stuff at this point. But just not a whole lot he can do, but try to soak up some levels. And once the lanes begin to collapse, once we start to see more movement out of both teams, he'll try to make up the difference in farm. Puppy, being very cheeky, uses the Malefice there on the Undying, who was going for the rune as well. Puppy manages to get it in the meantime, though, so doing a little bit of free damage for his trouble as well. The big winners on the board right now in terms of last hits are going to be our Lifestealer, and that's pretty much expected. Again, not a whole lot of Brood can do to stop this, and in fact, we see Lifestealer has opted to go with the Midas. That's becoming more and more common, the attack speed. Very good for him in general, just because of the way his passives work, and I mean, the Feast, obviously, giving him the bonus vampiric aura, more or less. But more than anything, it's Open Wounds. Open Wounds allows him to swing, regen himself. It gives him a lot more sustain in early fights than most heroes would have. And here we go. Here comes Puppy. They're going to drop the Sentry, and they're going to go for it. Puppy took a little bit of damage. Light of Heaven is going to be disrupted, and yeah, we're just going to go ahead and see the Shadow Demon try to get to safety. No way they can really engage on the Lifestealer. He's still got a Rage if he wants to use it. Not going to have to do so, though. So Puppy trying to come down. And thought they were going to fight. Saw the Sentry go down. Looked like they were thinking about fighting. Undying has made his way down to bottom lane now. And looking to do something to shut this Lifestealer down. Especially now that he has that Midas up. You can't just turn your back on him. And they know that. They're going to try and push their luck here. Maybe try to get a kill on Light of Heaven. Maybe try to take a very quick tower. We'll see one way or the other. In the meantime, maybe a little action in mid as well. Puppy is taking a moving around very early. He's just about level 7. He's already got his Soul Ring and Tier 1 boots, so he's not just spending extra time in the jungle, instead opting to try and make his presence felt all across the map and help lanes out anywhere he possibly can. Undying seems a little bit torn here as to where he's going to go. Watching for the rune, and that's all well and good, but wasting a lot of time, not really doing a whole lot for his team, losing out on experience and gold. So, and this is something, I mean, sometimes you got to do this. Sometimes it's hard to determine exactly where you want to be. But you don't want to spend too much time doing what he's doing, which is the jungle dance. Just hanging out, dancing around the jungle, hanging out by the riverside. Anyway, back in action, taking a look at Luna now. Luna with bracers, as well as a set of tranquil boots up, has gone ahead and built the Ayesee on the way to the Ring of Aquila, so putting those two early rings to use, as expected. Down here at bottom. And this worries me. This Lifestealer is being completely ignored at this point. Light of Heaven is not going to be able to do anything. He's at 67 last hits. 67 last hits. 68 now. And we're short of 9 minutes. That is insane farm. Utterly insane. Not to mention the Midas gold. That Midas has had to have been up for at least a little while. So yeah, this is going to be a problem for Na'Vi. And this is uncharacteristic of them. Na'Vi generally makes very good decisions in terms of prioritizing targets and not just playing a game of towers and gold. They make sure that they adapt their lineup. And hang on, Santa's going to move in. Firefly, there's the Malefice, sets him down. There's a Silence comes out as well. Off goes an Ice Path that's going to walk him in. Big Scream comes out. Disruption keeps him in place in the moment, and Cloudy and Puppy have no health, but Puppy caught everyone with that black hole. Just little to no follow-up, even from Dindy. And Queen of Pain's not done. Continuing to do damage. Dindy now going to try and run to the high ground. Is going to make it. That's a 1-for-1 trade. Now make that a 2-for-1. Na'Vi lost 2 there. And yeah, that was a great black hole from Puppy. It just hung. It took him a little bit too long to get it out, and there just was no damage follow-up. In the meantime, though, it has freed up Havos to apply some pressure to this top Tier 1. Glyph's going to be popped. That's enough to force him back, anticipating the reaction. Just going to be Undying. Yep, there's the TP, so heading back just to keep himself safe. Whilst all this is going on, though, this is becoming a time bomb situation. And see, as many spiders as this is, this really shouldn't even be a worry for him. As soon as he wants to hop in one, using Infest, yeah, he's just going to be able to melt a lot of those spiders down. But for now, just content to continue farming up. 82 last hits. 82 last hits at 10.5 minutes. Are you kidding me? Virtus Pro looking very good so far. Na'Vi, not looking bad. Little... hang on. Speaking of, this is what I expected them to do a while ago. They're going to go ahead and disrupt him to try and keep him alive. Out he comes. Dindy's there as well. He's going to infest, get himself back into fighting shape. And Dindy's continuing to move around. He's going to move up throughout the Soul Catcher, the Dream Coil. And now looks like our Shadow Demon's going to drop. He will, but Dindy's going to end up trading his life for that. And that's not really an even trade at all. You don't want to give this Lifestealer any more gold or experience than he already has. And instead, they give him a kill. He's just short of halfway to level 10 now. And now joined by the Undying down here as well. 92 last hits. Pretty nutso. Here's a pause, so we'll go ahead and fast forward now. And we're back underway. Gotta love the miracle of video. Instead of having to wait through that pause, I can just fast forward it for you. But anyway, back to this Lifestealer. Again, this is becoming a big liability, and I'll tell you why. When you look at the damage that Na'Vi is really banking on, it's going to be the Broodmother and the Luna. Luna's range, so that's all well and good. But she does not have the biggest range on her auto attack. She's going to have to be standing in these fights for the most part. She cannot just sit back and count on Lifestealer not being able to get to her, especially with open wounds. So even with BKB up, and that's still a long ways off. I mean, Luna's been doing quite well. Hang on, we're going to have the engagement on the Bat Rider. He's going to be disrupted, so he's locked in place. And back out, but here he comes. He manages to lash on the one. And that's going to turn that around completely. Big Sonic Wave comes out from the Queen of Pain. And what a turnaround from VP. I got to say right now, NS is earning its keep. A lot of those disruptions are buying just enough time for Virtus Pro to reposition and react. And right there was a perfect example. Keeping Santa alive and great reaction timing out of Santa as well as he came out of that, got the lasso off, managed to get himself to safety. And instead, that's 2 kills. In favor of Virtus Pro. They lead 7-5 now. And yeah, one of those deaths, by the way, was that Luna. And as mentioned, Luna has drums up. That's all well and good now. It's going to come down to what she wants to do after that. Probably going to be BKB, if I had to guess. That's kind of becoming the most typical way to build or go. Tranquil Boots plus drums into BKB. I'm actually a bit of a bigger fan of getting a Yasha up before the BKB. especially with that Tranquil Boots to open things up. But, I mean, it can go either way. But when we look at the farm, almost doubled up now by the Lifestealer. And that's a problem. I mean, Havost, hang on, they're going to go and engage. And, whoop, good blink away. Queen of Pain making a run for it. Na'Vi thought about diving it, thought better of it wisely. They do manage to take the tower down in the meantime, so beginning to swing that gold graph around a little bit. And yet another pause. We'll be right back, guys. Fast forward right now. And I said fast forward. I'm not even going to put that in there. Nope. In editing, I'm not even going to put a fast forward animation in there. They restarted so quickly. So anyway, Na'Vi, taking a look at the gold graph. Pretty close to 0, and I'm actually a little surprised by that. I feel like VP has played well, and on the back of the gold that is being generated by that Lifestealer would probably be ahead. Na'Vi actually a little bit ahead now as it updates. Ahead in experience as well. And that can only really be attributed to Na'Vi's just personal skill individually, but more so as a team cohesive unit. I feel like they've been caught out a few times. I mean, they're not miles behind by any stretch, so it's not a huge surprise to see them ahead in those two categories. But it's 7-5, and I feel like they have been punished a little bit. Their execution has been all right, has not been grand. Virtus Pro has been living and dying so far, though, on just turning a lot of fights around that normally they wouldn't be able to do so. And they have a team that is able to do that with the Queen of Pain and her burst damage, not to mention the mobility, Shadow Demon, and the fact that he's going to be able to use his entire skill set to flip a fight around, especially when you're talking disruption, and then you can throw out the Soul Catcher and the Demonic Purge. Bad Rider, of course, his ability to isolate any one hero and bring them way out of position. And so far, I mean, and this is just the downside of picking a Broodmother as well. Line of Heaven has not been able to do much of anything but stare at this Lifestealer as he continues to build more and more gold. 134 last hits. 134 last hits. In fact, I gotta check his GPM. 503 GPM at 14 minutes into the game. That is absurd. Like, it is just nuts. His net worth is almost 3,000 gold ahead of the top farmer on Na'Vi's side. This is a pretty big problem. Kind of got sidetracked talking about this, but Luna is a hero who has to be in these fights mixing it up. That's why you usually want to get the BKB up pretty darn early on her. And, yeah, it's when you're talking a Lifestealer, who, generally speaking, is going to have a hard time sticking on people, but once he pops his rage, and against the hero who is very farm dependent and is already a little bit behind, well, more than a little bit, is now being almost doubled up. I just worry that when all of this comes together in the mid game, Havost is going to find himself just a little bit under-equipped. Light of Heaven, oh, he's going to be dusted. He's gone for sure. Demonic Purge was there. Give him another kill, make it 8-5. And here comes the TPN. Yep, there we go. Dindy engages on and manages to get a kill. Very good reaction coming out of the Dindymon. Disrupted himself to save himself from the tower. Did the Shadow Demon. In the meantime, though, Na'Vi not sitting on their laurels. Mass reaction. That's going to be 3 TPs coming in. Santa may want to go for this. Santa doesn't have a blink dagger or anything to give him mobility. Does manage to land one shot of sticky napalm, though. Puppy, Cloudy, and Havost all making a run for the tower. Big time reaction out of VP. Let's see how hard they want to push this. And that's going to catch one. Puppy's there, as is the Undying. Down goes the Tombstone. Off goes the Eclipse, though. Immediately down. Oh, what a Sonic Wave. Caught 2. Puppy, though, continues to channel through it. Just not enough damage. Follow-up. Havost about to drop in the shadow of his own Tier 1. Here comes the Queen of Pain. Going to chase him into the woods, clean that up. And now just Jakiro left standing, hardly the word, fleeing from this very solid Virtus Pro team. Dindy, though, is there to go ahead and try to flip things around, but kind of shot his wad already. The Undying continuing to give chase. Dindy's going to go ahead and slug it out as best he can, but eventually the Queen of Pain does manage to catch up. So Dindy comes in, day late and $1 short. Managed to get half the lunch special, but not the whole thing. 11-8, VP currently leads. And yeah, I'm really impressed. And I got to admit, this is the first time I've casted Virtus Pro since the international qualifiers. Since all the way back to then. It's been how long since I've casted Virtus Pro? And granted, this is just a replay, but at the same time, I should clarify as well, this is nowhere near the same team I casted at that point either. But either way, really impressed with the way they're playing right now. And you can't even say that it's so much Na'Vi making mistakes. I mean, there are a few little slips in execution here and there, but nothing that is out of the ordinary. Every team's going to have slips in execution once in a while. But VP is just doing an amazing job of capitalizing on every opportunity they have. Speaking of, Dindy wants to add to his kill total, and he's going to be disrupted. There goes the Soul Catcher as well. And yeah, that's going to be enough to force Dindy back. And Queen of Pain TP'd in. Let's see. Yep, not more than Queen of Pain did. Here comes Undying as well. Trying to find... Look, such good reaction time. Oh, Dindy. Great job using phase shift to keep himself safe. Or waning... Or excuse me, yeah, this phase shift. Anyway, Dindy now being caught out. Oh, there's a good orb comes out following the ice path. Dindy still doing damage. Down to really low health, though. Caught all of the burst damage coming out of the Queen of Pain. Avost and Cloudy, though, able to clean up the Undying just as Santa arrives. Puppy's there as well. There's the Flame Break. Knocks a couple back. And another lasso catches Puppy, dragging him back towards the tombstone. Cloudy's gonna drop. Puppy making a run, trying to get out of that fire. He's burning down. In the meantime, Queen of Pain trading blows with Luna, and Puppy being pursued. Another good flame break from Santa allows them to get that kill. He caught him just as he was almost under the tower. And this is exactly what I was talking about out of Vost. He does have the Ogre Club up, so he is going for the BKB. But where's the damage? They just don't have the damage. And this is without Lifestealer, who now has 3,600 gold in the bank. 3,600 gold, an armlet, and a Hand of Midas. Virtus Pro is just blowing this game wide open. We're 19 minutes in. We got 24 kills on the board. And again, what scares me is this guy right here has been pretty much not active in these fights whatsoever. Neither is Light of Heaven. But Light of Heaven is sitting on Treads, Yasha, Poor Man's Shield, and a Soul Ring. Not nearly as impressive as the 4 freaking thousand gold our Lifestealer has here from Virtus Pro, on top of his Midas and Armlet. The guy is just a gold-making machine, and he's ready to fight. Here we go. Pops the Rage. Dindy blinks away. Should be enough to keep him safe, at least for the moment. But, and this is the only thing that really seems un-Navi-esque to me. Usually, they are so good about prioritizing their targets and about identifying the biggest threats to them on the map. Their Luna is just not well enough farmed to keep up with a Lifestealer anytime soon. And Luna, in general, really needs items. I mean, she is a great hero in her own right. She gives you a lot of push. And basically, though, Hovost has been living and dying on Eclipse. Hang on, we're going to have a lasso caught. Light of Heaven throws down the web, trying to keep himself safe, but there comes the dust. Off comes the Lifestealer. That's another kill. Put another feather in the bonnet of Virtus Pro, as they now lead Na'Vi 15-10, and they want to take a free Roshan for their trouble. The lineup for Virtus Pro, matching up against Na'Vi, and again, this is just one of the weaknesses of a Broodmother, and I think Virtus Pro has really identified it and abused it well. They know that she's going to have to sit still for a long time. Her job is to dominate a lane, but look at this lane. Half life still left on this tower, this tier 1 tower, in a Broodmother lane that was abandoned a long time ago. That should not happen. A Broodmother should at least be able to take down the tier 1 once it goes to a one-on-one situation. Instead, though, they put a hero which Brood just has a hard time matching up with, a hero which had an amazing start, Desolator. Desolator, Armlet, Midas, Treads, done right now, with 1,300 gold in the bank for Airman. This is absurd. Just unbelievably solid farm. And Virtus Pro has capitalized elsewhere on the map as well. They've been getting hit in the face just about as much as they've been hitting in the face, but still eking out the advantage in terms of kills and where they are with their lineup and getting their carry where he needs to be. And yeah, look, that's kind of what I expected to see a while ago. Na'Vi was keeping it closer, but 4,000 gold now the differential. Na'Vi trails Virtus Pro, 3,000 experience. And I'm really worried for Na'Vi once this Lifestealer hooks up with the rest of his team, which we have pretty much not seen at all. Puppy, playing on our Enigma, has done a pretty solid job. But the Black Holes, they've been there. But again, the problem with the entire lineup that Na'Vi is fielding here, where's the damage? Dindy can do a little bit, and that's all well and good. Here we go. Santa's going to go ahead and lasso Puppy again. There goes the orb. Doesn't. Just look at Puppy melt. So farmed is the Lifestealer. He is hitting so hard. We're 22 minutes into the game, and he's hitting that hard. He is melting an Enigma. And generally speaking, at this stage of the game, an Enigma should feel a little bit tankier than most supports would, just because he farms so fast in the jungle, and will usually be on par, level-wise at least, with a lot of the carries. 22 minutes into the game, and he is just melting. 3 or 4 shots. There's an Ice Path. It's going to catch one. It just doesn't matter. Virtus Pro wants to take a tier 3 at 22 minutes, and I don't think Navi's got anything to stop them. They don't. Down it goes. Are they going to commit to the racks? Yeah. And at this point, Virtus.pro could sell out if they want to. And here we go. They're going to go ahead and engage. Moving up, a little bit spread out. Now this could hurt them. Sonic Wave's going to catch 2. Here comes the Bat Rider. Finally gets out there. There's the Eclipse, though. That's going to melt him down. Light of Heaven going to drop. There's the Black Hole. Catches a couple. That's what Puppy needs. Disruption, though, going to buy some time. Black Rider there once again, and Puppy got nothing out of that. Same problem as every Black Hole he's thrown this game. No follow-up. And Na'Vi loses a set of racks, pretty much, at the 23-minute mark. Absurdly good play out of Virtus.pro. I am impressed as hell. Their decision-making, their ability to hang around, and to be honest, they got so strung out there. They were spread out in a really awkward way. I'm surprised they had as much success once that Tier 3 tower dropped, but it just doesn't matter. They are so far ahead, and it's becoming... Well, I mean, honestly, now that I look over at the last hits, we'll take a look at our net worth. Okay, that's a little bit more reasonable. Yeah, Queen of Pain's second on the list, so 3 of the top 5 farmers for Virtus.pro. But again, the Luna is just not... I mean, look at her items. BKB's done, that's fine. What does BKB do for her right now? When you're up against a Lifestealer, and if you're going to contribute at all to these team fights, you have to be standing fairly close. You're attack... Oh, another big fight. Never mind. Dindy's going to go ahead and try to get out. Cloudy's about ready to drop. Virtus.pro laying it on Na'Vi once again. Big flame break. Gets another kill. And Virtus.pro continues to build on this. 19-11 now. And they are looking remarkably good. Begin to see why. People have been asking. I've been tweeted at a few times this week asking about, being asked about Virtus.pro and if I was going to cast them, if they were going to be in the D2L. Now I see why. Again, I haven't casted or really observed this team in quite a while. Stay very busy with other things. But I think that's a habit I'm going to have to change, because these guys look damn good, and they're going back in for the racks. They want to go ahead and bring down the ranged racks. And yeah, they should do this, just go ahead and back out. Haven't even had a lot of time to talk about item decisions, just because of how active both of these teams have been. Taking a look at Light of Heaven, yeah, this is problematic. And again, this comes down in large part to just the inherent limitations of a Broodmother, and this is what you don't want. Light of Heaven has abandoned that bottom lane where he basically set up shop at the beginning of the game, and look at this. Still, this Tier 1 stands. Tier 2, obviously not even touched. That is remarkable, to hold a Broodmother that long off of towers, and still be winning in terms of kills elsewhere on the map, still be winning in terms of experience elsewhere on the map. Just a remarkably well-played game out of Virtus.pro. And I'm not going to cheapen it by saying that Na'Vi is losing this game so much as they're being beaten. Na'Vi has, I mean, again, their lineup has limitations. But they're just being outplayed right now. And Virtus.pro is going to be, or excuse me, not Virtus.pro, but CRZ, looking for some safety. Use the BKB, is going to be tracked down. So Puck manages to add a kill to the total. Speaking of, I haven't really looked at that. And this is a problem if you're Na'Vi. I mean, it's Dindy, that's fine, that's all well and good. Puck with a lot of kills isn't all that scary. He just isn't. Much rather would you have Luna with a lot of those kills. In the meantime, though, Virtus.pro happy to go ahead and trade Tier 2 for Tier... I don't think they have to trade. They're just going to take it and probably be able to retreat in time. Puppy hanging out there by himself. And yeah, here comes the mass TP reactions, and Na'Vi has to run, but Havost caught with another lasso, drug back, down goes the tombstone just in case. He's going to try and TP away. Should be able to make it away, and he will. Forcing that second instance of the BKB, though. Won't say it's as good as a kill, but having that down to 8 seconds now certainly not going to hurt. But see, I think that, again, kind of demonstrates the point. And obviously he was caught out, so it's not as if you can point and go, look, BKB's useless. It's not saying that. And wow. Looks like Airman just said, you know what, Puppy? No, it's time for you to not be alive anymore. Your days of drawing breath. Oh, that's why he has a haste rune activated. That's annoying. That's upsetting. But yeah, it hasn't slowed down. His net worth now is well over 50% in excess of the grand total of the highest farmer on Na'Vi's now. In fact, they got 2 higher than Havost. They can't have that. It just... Luna, again, such a good hero. But, hang on, here comes Dindy. Dindy's going to move in, throws out the Dream Coil. That's going to catch 2. Blackbriar is going to survive through it. Not a lot of follow-up coming out from it. And Virtus.pro not done rattling their saber. Puppey respawns, so they're going to be in position to fight and defend this. They're going to catch Airman, but how do you commit to him? He's got that armlet and the heart up now. I mean, he's just so tanky. 3,200 health when he toggles that armlet. 3,200 health, and we're at 28 minutes into this game. Virtus.pro, and again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but I'm just surprised Na'Vi let it reach this point. They had to know this was going to happen if they left him alone for too long. Yeah, he's just going to face tank the entire freaking team. Moves up. Ice pass there. There's a black hole. Catches two. Can they get anything done? No! Flame break knocks Puppey out of it. Off goes the Eclipse on the top side. Puppey's about ready to drop. Damage being done as it can be done. Havos with the BKB up survives a little bit longer. BKB just wears off the Queen of Pain after the Sonic Wave as well. Dindy has to run. He's in trouble. Will he get away? He will buy himself some time and get to the low ground finally. He's tracked down. Buybacks coming out from Na'Vi. They know they're in trouble. One set of racks down. They can't lose a second if they want to have any chance of surviving this utter onslaught from Virtus.pro. Havos now comes back forward. But look at the damage being done by both, and the GGs come out. Na'Vi loses to Virtus.pro. And again, this match played in the Star Ladder. Did not know the result of this. Those who wonder, by the way, whenever I select the replays I'm going to cast for my RepCast, I don't look at the results. I don't even look at the picks. I don't look at anything. I just download the replays, usually based on how many upvotes or downvotes a replay has from a given tournament, and or just if I'm interested in seeing the game regardless. But I'm impressed as hell with Virtus.pro. I mean, really and truly impressed. And a lot of these names are familiar, a lot of them aren't. But in the end, Virtus.pro puts together an impressive victory. Took him 29 minutes, 28 seconds to double up Na'Vi and win 26-13. Folks, if you're not sure who Virtus.pro was, you need to look him up now, because I know I'll be watching him a lot more in the future. And that's another RepCast in the books. Hope you guys enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed making it. You can find links to my other media as well down in the video description. Hope to have you back in the future. On Mondays and Wednesdays, I'll be releasing future RepCasts, and every Friday I'll be answering viewer mail via my mailbag segment. So make sure you don't miss a bit of that action. Go ahead and hit subscribe here on YouTube, and hope you'll follow me on Twitter as well, on Facebook. And again, you can find all of those links right below the video. Until then, take care. See you soon.